to fall off track. These help us remember.
These battle scars don't look like they're faded, don't look like they're ever gone away. They ain't never gonna change. These battles.
Growing up, I had a dream, something no one else could see. Tell me what it means when your faith is falling beneath your knees and you can't breathe. Everything you see reminds you of what you're not or something you won't be. You gotta take what you're given, that's how we live it. Don't be mad at the system, it's simply how we've existed. I hear a lot of people talking like they politicians and choose to be an accountant because it's safe in a business. Not because they wanna do it, just because they heard it pays. And who the fuck wants to be poor knowing that's how we've been raised? Society is getting heavy, I can feel the weight. The pressure of success is like 100 million pounds of shame. And that's the reason I'm staying up late, trying to find a way to escape the stereotypes this day and age is making me feel like the only way I'll be happy is getting signed to a label and making money through rapping. I wanna share my emotion because this world is attacking the very principle of life that lets the people be happy. If you don't have a reason to breathe, why even live? These battle scars are impressions of everything that it is.
Don't look like they're faded, don't look like they're ever gone away. They ain't never gonna change. These battle scars don't look like they're faded, don't look like they're ever gone away. They ain't never gonna change. These battles.
Now, if I had a voice that reached 100 million people, I'd tell them there's a reason that we're all created equal. Cause some decide to be great and some decide a sequel to an average person's life is simply what they want to be. So you make your decision, all I know is what I'm given. Won't define the life I lead or the way I dwell in existence. I've seen a greater image on the walls of where I'm living, and the words twisted and scripted remind me of something written. Faith is a gift that is given down to the people. If one believes it, one receives it. It's given if it is needed. Don't ever think you're trapped in a life that you never wanted. Your options are infinite, that's some mathematical logic. I'm not saying I'm a prophet, I'm speaking for what it's worth. These lyrics define my prayers and these battle scars on my church. Not saying I'm a prophet, I'm speaking for what it's worth. These lyrics define my prayers, these battle scars on my church.
Don't look like they're faded, don't look like they're ever gone away. They ain't never gonna change. These battle scars don't look like they're faded, don't look like they're ever gone away. They ain't never gonna change.
Well, hello everyone. You caught me napping. Napping's not the right word. I was checking my TikTok. I got TikTok notifications. Apparently one of my videos, for me, like considering that I have like no TikTok followers because I'm not much of a TikToker, one of my videos now has 890 views, which is good for TikTok for me. Maybe I'll play it. Maybe I'll play it here and you guys could go check it out on TikTok. But like not libertarians, there are just people it struck a nerve with. If you listen to it, you'll see why. But welcome everyone. I just got off another interview with the Rise to Liberty podcast or show. So please be on the lookout for that. So I am a little hoarse because we talked for 2 hours. But something I want to show you, I am wearing some of my merch. Buy my merch! But I wanted to show you because this is the most popular shirt I sell. So I wanted to show it to you. It is where we go here? Got to get my boobs out of the way here. Grab the pine, get the quills, with that very unique porcupine on here. This was designed, this porcupine, for the Libertarian Party of Colorado in the 70s. It was an original design. It's my favorite porcupine because it's not the typical one. So you have a little bit of vintage, you got some libertarian sayings, and it comes in a bunch of colors. You don't have to get it in pink. I just happen to like it in pink, but it comes in more manly colors. Though CJ Abernathy has bought a pink shirt. If CJ can buy a pink shirt, you can buy a pink shirt. But look, perfect Reno gear. Perfect Reno gear. Okay. So that's one of my shills. So you can get my merch at tinyurl.com/pinkflamemerch. At least for now. And remember, this show is participatory, so I do hope I see you guys in the chat. My chat is over there, in case you're wondering. Also, I am $12 away from meeting my December Patreon huge goal. If you enjoy what I do, you don't get content like this anywhere else. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but it's a true thing. Please consider becoming one of my patrons. I would deeply, deeply appreciate it. And as always, all super chats matter. Any super chats from now until Reno go to support my campaign. And it's very expensive to run an LNC campaign right now with the cost of travel and inflation and all of that. So if you would like to see me vindicated from the wrongful acts of this corrupt LNC, please do consider maybe sending a super chat or supporting my GoFundMe. I think that is it for the intros. Yes, I do. I think that is it for the intros. I need some cognac, as we all do. But I'm out of cognac now. Send me cognac. It's empty. It's empty. It makes me sad. Okay. I'm tired. I'm a bit punch happy. Before we get started, I do have some promos to do for some of my patrons that get an advertising benefit. So if you are a $25 or more a month patron, you do get advertising benefits. So, as I have said, this is a fantastic book for the young person in your life. It is by Sean Dempsey of the Libertarian Party of New Hampshire. It's called The Tale of Two Brothers, and it teaches libertarian life lessons to the young person in your life, that life is more than just biological existence, that it's taking risk and it's experiencing pleasures and experiencing sadness. So you can get this on Amazon or at tale2brothers.com. Also want to promote my friend's YouTube channel, Daniel 3 Biblical Anarchy. There is some really, really good interviews there. One of my best interviews, I think, is there, and he did a very good interview with Angela McArdle. And speaking of Angela, go to Reason TV. Well, first, go subscribe first to Daniel 3 Biblical Anarchy. After you do that, go to Reason TV and listen to Angela's kick-ass debate on vaccine mandates. So proud of her. But have tissues for her opening statement. I'm not crying, you're crying. Okay, let's get to the history, shall we? No, I have one other thing to say. And you guys are being awful silent in chat. Makes me sad. You don't want to make my eyeliner run, do you? What was it? Oh, Saturday. Saturday, a day that shall go down in infamy. I passed my registered parliamentarian exam. I am now admitted into the priesthood, and I shall open it up to the unwashed masses. Long, hard road, but now I'm actually credentialed. I had the experience before, but now I actually have the paper to go behind it, and we believe in voluntary certifications, and that's what I've done. I also have a voluntary certification, and I actually think this is going to help me in my side gig of doing parliamentary stuff, because I do want to be a working parliamentarian. That it'll be a side gig, obviously. Multiple income streams, right? That the fact that I'm a certified paralegal and a registered parliamentarian, that's an interesting juxtaposition of skills, particularly for homeowners associations, since I've worked in HOA law. So to be a parliamentarian and have knowledge of HOA law, I think makes me eminently qualified to go to homeowners association meetings. Kill me. No, I probably would actually enjoy bringing order to that chaos. And yes, Andrew Gonzalez, let me put your comment up here. Yes, and everyone should have the right and not be shamed for being vaccinated. And those of us who choose not to be should have the same. So yeah, I absolutely agree with you. It was a very, very good debate. But Angela is a good debater. She's a very good spokesperson. Okay, let's go now to the history. As I said, I still have a lot of history to cover before this month is out. So first of all, I need to pull up my copy where I can see it. Give me 1 second. Here we go. All right. There's a lot of just loose ends to tie up in this LP news. And then remember, I've got a bunch of newspaper articles that I culled that will be a future episode that back up everything that we've talked about in these issues of LP News. And I still have my note from last time written on, remember I said I wrote, I don't know if you can see it. Oh, thank you, Stephen Ecker. It's so nice to see you. Hopefully back to abnormal, right? I know, God. Oh, and I have another announcement to make. I think I said this last time, but it's worth saying again. D.L. Cummings has agreed to be my campaign manager. I am so happy. He did such a great job in my defense, and he balances out my fire and brimstone with a needed calm. And needed calm. Yeah. Oh, I cried so hard during that opening. I was like, whoo. Okay. So I do have in my notes here that I still have to pull up the 1972-73 Supreme Court decision on obscenity, and also got to research that Ayn Rand got paid on taxpayers' dime to go look at a moon launcher, not the launch of a moon, something, you know what I'm talking about, something to do with the moon. Okay. And convention travel is coming up. So thank you, Stephen. I'm in the last leg of raising for my campaign, but I do have multiple trips still to purchase. I just purchased my table for convention. I got the mid-price one. I couldn't justify with donor money the most expensive one. Like really, the mid-price one everyone's going to see, okay? And I still need to buy certain plane fare and other convention tables and the like. So thank you so much. And what's really great is DL is willing to go to at least some conventions that I can't make. I was heartbroken that I couldn't make it to Georgia. DL's going to go to Georgia for me. So that's nice. So my travel starts January 15th, Arizona. And then every weekend, nearly every weekend. I don't think the following week I'm anywhere. But then after that, it's New Hampshire, and every other weekend after that, I am somewhere. March 12th is the Colorado Convention. I'll be in another state on March 13th. Like, I'll be leaving after dinner, Colorado, and going to another state. I'm mostly visiting 2 states a weekend. I am working my libertarian ass off, okay? Let's skip to the history now, and thank you. Okay, let me pull this up. Life members is where we left off. Now, I still don't have a good grasp on what constituted a life member then. And they had life members and life sustaining members. And all I know about the life sustaining members is somehow involved an extra $250, I think. I don't know. I don't get it. I'm still trying to figure it out. I have been extracting all this information into Lpedia. So let's read this out. Remember, this is November, December 1973. Ward Malishk, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, of Missouri, recently became a life member of the LP, bringing the total number to 15. And by the way, I'm a life member. Are you a life member? You should become a life member. And anyone who was a delegate at last convention, you should be getting my postcard any day now, my holiday postcard. The others, in order of their becoming lifers, are Luke Zell of Colorado, Ned Nolte of Nebraska, William Contos of Illinois. Notice that the state abbreviations weren't standardized then. There was not yet in 1973 the 2-letter state abbreviations. We need to look up at when that started. If anyone knows, please stick it in chat. Frank and Barbie Merriman of New York, Gene McGuire of Colorado, Vince Drozdick of Massachusetts, Freeman Fox, what a name, of Arizona. Edmund Kontowski of Minnesota, Carl Bray, Utah, Ed Clark, California, Jane Remke, New Jersey, Roger McBride of Virginia, William Fisher of Michigan, and Bob Steiner of New Jersey. It says, in addition, 4 people have contributed $250 in order to become life-sustaining members. They are Tim Barris of Oklahoma, Joan Kiekel of New York, Anatoly Aratunov of Oklahoma, and Bruce Cameron. Is my phone ringing? Hold on. I gotta see who just texted me. It's not recognizing my face. It must be because of my makeup on today. Oh, someone thanking me for the holiday card. You all should be getting my holiday card. I've been getting all kinds of messages about it. Okay, so, yes. Where were we? We are extremely grateful to these individuals because while ordinary membership fees and receipts from the sale of material provide the funds for our regular operating expenses, it is the funds received from life and life-sustaining members which make it possible for us to engage in special projects of the sort necessary for us to continually reach new people. We hope others will join these dedicated individuals in their investment in liberty. And Andrew asked how to get the cards. They were sent to the entire delegate list from last convention. So if you were a delegate last convention, you'll get one. As far as the cards that will be sent out in a couple months, it will be all the current delegates that are signed up. So that's kind of how it went. I'm not normally a holiday card person, but I am feeling so optimistic for the future of the party that I actually sent out holiday cards asking people to join the National Party. Despite everything they did to me, I am so optimistic for the future of this party. Okay. Why is that only one page showing? That is weird. Okay, let me go to the next page here. Okay, and we need to go to the next page for you guys. Let me make sure that switches over. All right. Now we're going to be talking about Ludwig Van Von Mises. Oh, hopefully it forwards. I paid the extra money for forwarding, Stephen. So I hopefully the card forwards. So you should get it. You should get it. I could pull up what it looks like for everybody, but let's do this first. All right, let me make this. I need to put the print bigger on this. Why isn't the print going bigger? You know, why does this do this to me? Obi-Wan Kenobi, why are you doing this to me? Let me try again. Okay, I'm making it bigger now. Sorry, my eyesight is just not so good. And it's still messing with me. Don't do this to me, Apple. Why are you doing me ugly? Okay, here we go. So, Ludwig von Mises. Let me find where that is. We're on political perspective. Back a page. This is so weird. Okay. Now I found it. I'm sorry. The background program I'm using is giving me trouble. So it says Ludwig von Mises, an unsung genius. And we learned a lot about how literally unsung he was in the patron-only content of Radicals for Capitalism, which is such a fantastic book. So, but let's read this. It says, when I learned of the death of Ludwig von Mises, remember this is 1973, nearly a week after it happened, my initial reaction was one of sadness and regret. Sadness at the passing of one of the great minds of our age, and regret that I had never met in person the man who had had such a profound influence on my intellectual development. Though I didn't learn, obviously, weeks later, when I learned finally that David Nolan was no longer with us, that he had passed in 2010, which is years before I was involved with the party, I had sadness and regret that we never met. I can imagine here where you just missed it by a few weeks. It says, my reaction shortly turned to anger. Anger, not so much at the fact that he had passed away, but at the manner in which I had finally learned of his passing through other libertarians passing the word. Professor Mises died Wednesday, October 10th, less than 2 weeks after his 92nd birthday, with a single notable exception. The Wall Street Journal, which published a lengthy tribute to the professor, the event was virtually ignored by the news media. The media's treatment, or rather non-treatment, of Professor Mises' death is paradigmatic of the way the media, and to its eternal discredit, the academic community treated his life and achievements with indifference, and that is so true. It was an oversight that indicts the media fully as much as the Nobel Prize Committee's decision a few years ago to award its first prize in economics to Paul A. Samuelson indicted that committee. But somehow I don't believe any of this is going to matter in the long run. Through the years, Professor Mises has built a small but intensely loyal following, and it's still true today. His admirers, while not successful in having his theories embraced by a majority of economists, have at least been able to keep his most important works in print and have been able to slowly add to their own ranks. And most important of all, Professor Mises has left his libertarian admirers a virtual arsenal of intellectual weapons that in the years ahead is going to prove of extreme importance in defending what is left of civilization from those who would take us into a new dark age of irrationalism, slavery, and terror. He could not have left us a richer legacy. Signed, Phil Menger, and it says, this foregoing is reprinted in abridged form from Toward Liberty, newsletter of the Maryland Libertarian Party. I'd love to see the full article on this. But yes, that is someone who has influenced so many lives. And some of us here today. There's a whole caucus inspired by him that's taking over the party for the better. Okay, next. Heroes and mainly villains in Congress. I don't know if there's any heroes, but David Nolan was more charitable than I. And hello, Doc Sexy, boom chaka wow wow. Alrighty, at long last, libertarian. This answers the question, by the way. I was asking what the Royce report was. This is going to explain it. At long last, libertarians have their own congressional rating service, thanks to the prodigious efforts of Eric Scott Royce, LP National Executive Committee member from Region 7. Back then, the LNC was called the National Executive Committee. I don't know when they changed their name, but it wasn't at this time. Thanks to Mr. Royce, libertarians no longer have to pore through reports on congressional voting records issued by liberal and conservative groups to try to figure out who's who in Congress. Now they can simply subscribe to the Royce Report, a twice-yearly report on key votes in both House and Senate, $5 for 2-year, 4-issue subscription, or $1.50 for a single issue. The Royce Report is based on 25 votes in each House of Congress and covers economic, civil liberties, and foreign policy votes with approximately equal emphasis. In order to score 100, a senator or representative must vote in concurrence with libertarian principles every time. He is docked 4 points for a wrong vote and 3 points for an absence. And the first issue of the Royce Report, which covers the first half of the current session, only one man in either house received a score above 75. This was Representative H.R. Gross, Republican, Iowa, who scored a commendable 85. And there's a picture of Mr. Gross. Runners-up in the House were Phil Crane, Republican, Illinois, with a 74. Representatives Huber, Republican, Michigan, Schuster, Republican, Pennsylvania, and Sims, Republican, Idaho. By the way, when Sims first ran, he was a libertarian. He was an anarcho-capitalist. He strayed from that, but he was an anarchist when he was elected out of Idaho. We covered that in a prior show. He was actually the first elected libertarian to federal office. We forget about him, but he was. With scores of 72 each. Worst score in the House was an abysmal 3. Oh my God. Garnered by Representative Flood of Pennsylvania. Worst scoring Republicans were Representatives Fish and Horton of New York, tied at 16 each. My God. Woof. In the Senate, the top scorer was Senator Scott of Virginia with a 64. Bottom of the barrel was Senator McGee, Democrat, Wyoming, with a 10, followed closely by Senator Jackson, Democrat, Washington, with a 12. Average score was about 40 in the House and 35 in the Senate. Only 15%, and this is in the 70s, of the members of either house scored above 50. In the 70s, we still had lawn darts. I miss lawn darts. I miss dangerous games as a child. For a copy of the Royce Report, use this month's order form. There's no better way to keep track of how your own representative votes. Okay. Next, making of the president is a bore, disappointment. Now, I learned something. When I first read this, I thought this was some kind of movie or TV show. I didn't know any of this. It turns out there was a book for every presidential election since, I think, 1960s called The Making of the President, like 1960 or whatever. I might be getting the years wrong. I think it started with Kennedy. So he's talking about Making of the President 1972. I ordered it. We might do that as bonus content either on this show or patrons only. Because right now with patrons only, we're finishing up Radicals for Capitalism. We're going next to the problem of political authority. So it might be like too far along to be going back to 72, because LP News. But I think we're probably will do it on Patreon. So we'll be going over Making of the President. So it says, Theodore H. White's Making of the President series has come to be regarded as the authoritative chronicling of presidential elections. His skillful blending of scholarly style and personal insight combined with an abundance of you-are-there detail has proven well nigh irresistible to connoisseurs and the general public alike. Unfortunately, the 1972 volume has proved to be a disappointment. Its greatest shortcoming is that it is boring. This is not entirely White's fault, of course. The 1972 election was in itself boring. I don't agree with that. Like Fear and Loathing on the Campaign Trail, that was a good book. Anyway, and White realizes this. So let me, we need to go to the next page here for you guys. Did it switch? Yes, it did. So down in the bottom, it's continued. Now I need to find it for myself. 1 second here. His book, Two Rambling Pontifications on Background Material About the State of American Society. Yet, amazingly, despite a paucity of interesting material about the major candidates, he devotes no space to a discussion of minority party candidates. Hospers is mentioned once, so there is space. I'm sorry. You can't say no space and then mention space. That's just, you could say little space, but he says he devotes no space to a discussion of minority party candidates. Hospers is mentioned once briefly in a footnote. The others are ignored completely, except for a listing in a vote total table. Minority candidates drew about 3% of the total vote in states where they were on the ballot, yet White never mentions them. This seems odd in view of the fact that Shirley Chisholm, who was a dark horse Democrat candidate, very interesting lady, by the way, is mentioned several times. Surely Smits, Spock, Hospers, Janus et al. Said something of interest and/or represented significant current in American politics. Perhaps White's oversight was not intentional, but it is disappointing nonetheless. Let us hope that his 1976 chronicle is more perceptive. And signed, David F. Nolan. Okay, now, what was up above this? I think we already covered it. We did. This was the political perspective. We covered this. So we are moving on to the last portion, and let me pull this up for you guys, of this LP News. We will have at least one more bonus episode after this, and it will be all the newspaper articles and perhaps the Supreme Court decision. There might be 2 more episodes, but this will finish out at least going over the LP News, and then I'll be doing some bonuses on the background material I dug up. So let's go to the last page here. Bits and pieces, and there is some interesting stuff in here. I did finally get this all typed into LPedia, so the LP News PDF was always up there, but I typed it out. All right, it says an apology. To all of you who ordered gold-plated Libersign or Libersign pins last month, our supplier made a mistake on the pins and they've had to be done over. They should be in by December 1st and those who ordered them will receive them soon. I want to know, I want to see these pins. I need to find somebody who ordered these pins back in the 70s. D. Frank, did you have one of these pins? Do you still have it or was it lost in one of your house fires? Next, Penthouse article covers LP. Does anyone else find that title funny? You have Penthouse covers. I thought the whole point of Penthouse was to uncover. Da-da-jing. That's what she said. An article in the November issue of Penthouse, circulation 5 million, by Sam Blumenfeld, entitled Zero Government, Anarchy on the Right, gives extensive, although lopsided coverage to the Libertarian Movement with emphasis on the anarchist wing. LP is given some coverage, and we have received numerous inquiries as a result. Thanks, Sam. There's a lot to suss out here. First of all, I have ordered at great sacrifice to myself. I know I take the bullet for you guys. I'm taking one for the team. I ordered the November issue of Penthouse. I mean, it's dirty work, but somebody had to read it, right? I read it for the articles. I won't look at any of the pictures. Yeah. So I have ordered it because I'd like to read this article and look at some pictures of pretty women. But I find it interesting, and I like to point this out. Notice it says Zero Government, Anarchy on the Right. The LP was a right-wing movement when it came out. Whether we like that or not, it was. That's history. History doesn't care about your feelings. And it's funny how David Nolan's a little bit ass-mad that it focused on the anarchist wing. Boo-hoo. But remember, this is pre-Dallas Accord, when the party itself was explicitly un-anarchist. Things changed in 74. All right, NAM launches anti-controls campaign. Remember now, when we read this part, this is after Nixon instituted wage and price controls, which was one of the impetuses for, the foundation or the formation of the Libertarian Party. The National Association of Manufacturers has launched a campaign to try to get the government to end wage price controls. They have prepared a series of ads, urging people to write their senators and congressmen on the subject, and reprints are available at no charge to anyone who wants them in reasonable quantities. To get copies, it gives an address of where you write. If you wish, they will even imprint your local group's name and address on the reprints. Now that's a deal. Reproduction proofs for use in placing ads in media are also available. Remember, this is before computers. Like, that's actually valuable for them to give you an imprint or their reproduction proofs. These are good ads and tailor-made for our purposes. Don't pass up this chance to get some good material at no cost. Next, NCLG Monetary Conference, January 18th through 20. There were a lot of gold bugs in the LP at this time. So it says, the National Committee to Legalize Gold is sponsoring a symposium on monetary topics in New Orleans, January 18th through 20th, 1974. Remember, gold ownership, at least certain, not jewelry, but certain types of gold ownership was illegal at this time. It got legalized, I think, in 76, re-legalized in 76. Scheduled speakers include Franz Pick, Heinz Senholz, Senator James McClure, and John Hospers, and an address to write for details. A note on inserts. And somebody must have bitched. All I kept thinking when I read this part of LP News was, who bitched? Who was the bitchy bitch? So a note on inserts. Enclosed with this issue is the latest catalog from Laissez-Faire Books. As with all other inserts, our carrying it does not imply that the LP endorses LFB as an official LP bookstore. All inserts we carry are simply things we feel might be of value or interest to LP members and have arranged to carry, usually on an exchange basis with outfits we feel are reputable. In return, they carry an ad or insert for us because we and they feel that their members or subscribers might be interested in the LP. Somebody bitched. Can't you? You all know that. You all know libertarians, right? You know that guy. That guy bitched about this. 1974 LP Convention, Dallas, June 12th through 16th. This is when the Dallas Accord happened. It's official now. Next year's National LP Convention will be in Dallas, Texas, June 12th through 16th. Mark your calendars. Momentous occasion. An antidote to the eco-freaks. Of interest to libertarians is a new monthly newsletter called Access to Energy, whose publisher describes it as pro-science, pro-technology, pro-free enterprise. It deals with the subject of the energy crisis and provides valuable ammunition to refute the eco-freaks. This might be interesting to see how much of it applies today, because we have plenty of eco-freaks today, don't we? 2 looks at the Libertarian Movement. An interesting evaluation of the Libertarian Movement appears in the September 1973 issue of Western World Review. Gives an address. Also of interest is the anniversary issue of Against the Wall, which is so hard to find. I have a couple issues of Against the Wall, but it wasn't widely printed, and it's rare. Which contains several essays setting forth different libertarians' concepts of what is a libertarian. The author of one piece claims that it was reprinted without his permission, and it gives an address. Bonus book offer repeated. Now, I never heard of this book, and I did not order it because I've got enough books, and there wasn't enough information here to see if I would be interested in it. Once again, we are offering a free copy of The Lady and the Tycoon to the person who sends in the largest material order. Deadline for eligibility is December 31st. Last month's copy went to Sarah Helber and the Texas LP. And I had showed you a similar book as the one we're going to be discussing here. I need to stick it in my Amazon affiliate links. Remember, Amazon affiliate links in the low bar. If you're thinking of buying anything from Amazon, start your searches through one of my affiliate links, and anything that qualifies that you buy in that session, I'll earn an affiliate commission without it costing you anything. You don't have to buy the things that are in the link. Just start there. All right. Steiner's Essential Controls published. NJLP Chairman Bob Steiner has published a book entitled Essential Government Controls. It is full of blank pages. And it gives an address. Hosper's tours country, making speeches. 1 year after the 1972 presidential election, John Hospers is still much in demand as a speaker, and I think it remained that way throughout his life. In October and November, he made more than a dozen speeches. In Connecticut, New York, where he co-hosted with Murray Rothbard a cocktail party for the Youngstein campaign, which we talked about in several episodes of this LP time capsule. New Jersey and Utah. And I made another sacrifice for the team. You guys do not know how much I suffer for you. And again, the patron donors, super chats, things like that, go towards me getting this background material for you and suffering by looking at all these beautiful women. I did order this issue of Playboy as well, so I could read to you this interview. But it says, Rand interview issue of Playboy available. A like-new copy of the March 1964 issue of Playboy, containing the famous Rand interview, is being offered for sale by your editor. So, David Nolan had a Playboy collection, did he? With 25% of the proceeds to go to the LP. Best bid over $25 received by December 31st takes it. So I did order this on eBay. I got a water-damaged copy because mostly I am wanting to read the article on Rand, but it said the centerfold was in fine condition, so I'll be good. And this issue, this issue of Playboy, it's pretty pricey in mint condition, so I ordered a damaged one, so it was affordable. It was under $10. A note on address changes and registered mail. When sending us a change of address, please be sure to include your zip code to assure proper processing. Also, unless it is absolutely necessary, Please do not send us registered letters. It will delay receipt considerably. And that is it for this issue of LP News. I would like to show you guys the postcard in case some of you don't get it because you weren't delegates. And hello, Julian. Or for some reason it gets lost in the mail. Let's see here. Let me see if I can find the graphics that I sent in for this postcard. Is it under art? I'm not sure what I did with the graphics for this thing. Oh, it will be under my LNC campaign. Hold on. I was looking under Pink Flame of Liberty, but this isn't really a Pink Flame of Liberty thing. It's an LNC campaign thing. So let me find that folder. Graphics. Let me see if I actually uploaded it here. Otherwise, I'll pull it up on the print site. Yeah. Postcard back. Let's download that. Where's my download thing? Oh, there it is. Okay. Postcard front. Let's download that. Okay, I'm going to be showing you guys this in a minute. I'm just going to pull it up first here. Downloads. Okay, I want to pull up the front. And where's the back? Let me pull up the back. Didn't it download? Yeah, there it is. Okay. All right, I'm going to share my screen here. Give me 1 second. I got to minimize some windows so it doesn't interfere with the view. Okay, let's go back to here first and let me share my screen. There you go. So that is the front of the postcard I sent out. It says, "Season's greetings from Castle Rock, Colorado." I'm all warm and toasty, and I just happen to like that picture. And now let me show you the back. I'm going to have to flip it, though, because it's on its side. Let's see if we can do tools, or is it view? Do you see rotate here anywhere? I don't see rotate. Rotate left? Nope, want to rotate the other way. Let's just keep rotating left and it'll eventually end up in the right place, right? Okay, and there's the back. Let me pull this over so you should be able to... Ah, that didn't work, did it? Did that work? Yes, okay. So it says, "Happy Holidays and New Year, fellow Libertarian. 2021 has been in many ways a dark year. With the massive violations of human rights that occurred all over the world and closer to home, there was deep dysfunction in the National Party. Despite all of that, I am enthusiastically hopeful for 2022. Why? People are waking up, resisting, and taking back their rights in greater numbers, and these people are primed to hear the message of liberty. Also, we have a national convention coming up in May, and I do believe this convention will be a sea change and reinvigoration of our party. Having the cracks and fissures exposed allows us to fix them. In order to prepare the new LNC to accomplish greatness, we need to be sure they have an adequate, quote-unquote, war chest to do so. If you are not yet a National Party member, I urge you to become one today. If you are already a national member, please consider adding a monthly pledge or becoming a life member. Learn more at lp.org/contribute/join. If you have any questions or comments about what I have said, I would love to hear from you. And it gives my name, my email address, and my phone number. So that is the postcard a bunch of people are getting. And I've had people, let me go back to my screen here. Let me close that, go back to here. I've had people express surprise that I sent out such a positive postcard with everything that's happened to me. And it's because the LNC is not the party. They suck. The party doesn't. And I do want people to become contributors. You do not hurt the LNC, nor do you honor me by withholding your support. So I had decided, obviously, though, this is all part of campaigning as well. But I decided rather than talk about my campaign, I was going to talk about my hopefulness and to encourage people to continue supporting the party. And I just love that picture. I think it's a cute picture. All right, everyone. So that is it for tonight. I've been keeping these shows under an hour. I am proud of myself. And we will have at least one more bonus episode, maybe two. I've got a ton of stuff to cover, not just LP news. So I've got plenty of material. Been trying to keep to my promise of every night. And what I need right now, if people are interested, is support for my campaign. If you believe in what I'm doing, either send super chats, thank you Stephen Ecker, because all those are going to my campaign, or go to my GoFundMe. You can PM me, text me. Excuse me, burped. And aren't these cute nails? Look at this. There's like little confetti in them. I don't know if you can see. Yeah. One skill I learned during the pandemic was these are polygel. So it's like a combination of acrylic and gel. Anyway, I know you guys aren't that interested, but your girlfriends or wives would be. And I'm not judging you. You might be interested. No judgment. If you want to have nice nails, you go for it, okay? You own you. You do you, boo-boo. So yeah, that's what I need right now in order to do this final sprint to Reno. Okay, everyone, I hope you have an awesome night, and I think, talk to you tomorrow. I don't think I have too much planned that I can't do a live stream. I hope you have an awesome night. Rest well. Drink water. Be nice to your dogs.
Given, that's how we live it. Don't be mad at the system, it's simply how we've existed. I hear a lot of people talking like they politicians and choose to be an accountant because it's safe in a business, not because they want to